Next month, May the 4th, which is a Saturday, I believe, down at Mine Dock Park, there'll be part of the river sweep cleanup. So if anyone would like to come down and help out, they are more than welcome. If anybody at home wants to stop down and help out, they're more than welcome. I believe it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll have something put on Channel 23. And I'll talk with our local newspaper and see if they can put something in there too. Oh, you're there, huh? Oh. Public comment on agenda items only, please. Anybody have any public comment? Being none, we'll move on to the next. Approval of the previous minutes.
I have one question.
Yep.
Under EMT, you have council member made a motion, you just have to fill a name in there.
I'll ask Leslie, because Leslie did them, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Ask for motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Communications, I received a 2019 leak detection program application. I received the application all filled out, and the reason I bring that up is our new engineer, Lankin Tully. We met with her the other day. I asked a question about it, which I had gotten an email about it. It's a county program that they will, at no cost, search for any leak in town water. In other words, they're not going to go on private property to find a leak, but on the town water. And the only thing we have to promise is to repair the water leaks if they find them. So I'll ask the board for a motion to sign this application.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And that was nice. She went right to work on this. We didn't even ask her to do it. She just said, I'll fill out an application. I've seen that. The organization in town called Vision, which I'm sure everybody is familiar with, they are going to have their annual Kentucky Derby Day, which would be Saturday, May 4th, but this is after you come down and help us clean the river up, not before, after. What I've done in the past is I'm not going to mention prices or what it costs to go to it, but the cost is half tax deductible. So if you're going to go, get a hold of somebody from Vision. And I understand it's a super nice day. Lynn, what goes on down there? Keeping you away from dollars and cents.
Well, the food is fantastic. They have a very nice buffet, and they, have raffles for some beautiful prizes. And it's you're betting on the race, and that's what the raffle is. You're putting in who you think's going to win the race, and then it gets thrown out of the bag of the winners.
Nice,
Who gets the raffles.
Sounds like a fun day.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun.
And the ladies wear very appropriate and pretty hats for Derby Day.
And it's right on the river. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue.
And while I'm at it, Vision is celebrating their 20th anniversary. Ongoing projects are spring and fall beautification and maintenance of Lady Cliff Park, wall planters, the Patriot Garden, and the town gardens. They do the 911 ceremony at Patriot Garden. They do a Winterfest party for children, decorations for Lady Cliff Park, the library, wall planters, town outside of the village. Expected to do in 2019 is a drinking fountain installation and garden at Memorial Park, paths to Patriot Garden, new sign at Lady Cliff Park, new sign for the farmers market. And their fundraisers are Kentucky Derby party, the farmers market, and wreath sales in December. So it's definitely an active organization that's been super active for 20 years now. Okay. We paid out on April 11th, $124,704. The larger items are Fleet Pride, $2,127 for sanitation vehicle maintenance parts. Global Montello Group, $2,687 for sanitation fuel. Highland Falls Library got their second quarter contribution of $61,590. Northern Supply, $2,800 for snow and ice removal equipment. Progressive Ventures, $3,500. This was for some sandblasting and prime and paint for a piece of highway equipment. Legal fees, $8,302. ServPro of Orange County, $2,883. This was for a sewer backup that occurred in the town hall for the cleanup. Mr. Shed, $7,600 for recreation for Roe Park. Rockland County Solid Waste, $8,698. A minor explanation on the Mr. Shed thing is we talked about the money that in Long Pond that we're going to supposedly save, and everybody has some idea of how we can spend it. We did spend $7,600 for this shed that we bought we put it on Figgins Field and removed the 4 or 5 ugly sheds that were in Roe Park. So some of that money was already spent, and I'm not looking for ways to spend it. I'm looking for ways to save it. I have a budget transfer request of $673. This would be general liability to Dial-A-Bus Insurance. It's for vehicle insurance for the new Dial-A-Bus. I have a motion to transfer the money.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Liaison reports. We'll start with the only Richie that's here, Councilman Parry.
I think we have some action to take, request from Pat Patterson concerning the seasonal employees. He'd like to go ahead on that as quickly as possible. We talked a little bit about personnel, might be some changes in the department, and other than that, I think things are moving along smoothly, and the snow isn't building up on the road, so they're doing a great job again. Thank you, that's
Better
all.
not build that, they got all their equipment put away.
I know.
Jim?
No, actually, everything is going well with the departments that I am the liaison to, especially the police department. They're in very good hands, in very good shape. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Ty?
Okay, I have a few things. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home. So just a couple things, actually. The first is this Thursday, April 25th, we have the chair exercises for our senior population. It will go from 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Now, look, location. Yeah, so I'll come back to that. And so 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. This Thursday. And so additionally, the Highlanders, the SCAC, Senior Citizen Advisory Council, and the Town of Highlands Recreation will begin having calendar/planning meetings monthly. And that will be on May 1st. And then thereafter, it will be every first Wednesday of the month. And the location is at the center for that activity. So it looks like the first thing that I mentioned, the chair exercise will be at the senior center. That's Drew Avenue, correct?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah, so I see the address here, 15 Drew Avenue, Senior Center, this Thursday, 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. And then thereafter, it will be the fourth Thursday of the month. So that activity will continue. And last but not least, wanted to reiterate happy birthday to our esteemed captain of the ambulance emergency management team. Marty had a birthday, I think it was last week.
Yeah.
And so send her a shout out that we wish her many more to come. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
May I
Yes,
may I ask a question?
sure.
Did you have an opportunity to talk to the center about the old dial-a-bus?
Yes. No, not the detailed in terms of the maintenance that you were mentioning. They're going to incur the expense. They're definitely interested in the bus, but we need to sit them down and talk with them about the maintenance piece. So that hasn't happened yet
Okay.
due to the holidays. So I'll get on that this week.
Yeah, if you could organize a meeting between yourself, whoever's concerned at the center, and Colleen,
Okay. I can do that.
and you can throw me in the meeting if it's at a time I can make it.
Sure.
That would be good. Then we can kind of map out something that we're looking for.
I see my esteemed colleague came just in time to talk.
He's very charming, isn't he? Thank you. Is it my turn?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So, I'm a little bit ill-prepared, but I'll start off with the March Building Department report. There were 13 permit applications received, 14 permits were issued, 3 COs were issued, 29 building permit inspections, 9 fire inspections, 12 advisory notices were given, 9 violation notices were completed, closed out, 10 municipal searches, 0 new zoning variances were received, 0 planning, 5 FOIL requests, 59 total number of physical inspections. The ZBA liaison, I went to the ZBA meeting last week. There's a significant project. I mean, it's in excess of $20 million slated for North Main Street in Highland Falls, and that project is in the beginning. I think they're toiling over who's going to do the seeker review, the ZBA or the planning board first. I'm not sure where that's at, but has that been before the planning board yet, or no?
So they have not appeared formally before the planning board.
Okay.
And typically on a project of that size and scope, the seeker review would be done by the planning board and not the zoning board.
And they realize that, so I think they're reconciling who's going to go where first. But it's a pretty big project. It's going to be a lot of work to do it, and it's where the old Pentagon and Christina Hotel is. Met last week, as I think you met with her too, Bob, with Dawn from Lankin Tully down at Brooks's Park. I know Pat Patterson and Jeff Cassidy were talking about something down there. I met to look at the catch basin, which has bad parging around it. I think they're going to address that, because I think there's a lot of water leaching out onto the field, because the elevation of the basin is higher than the field. There's no parging around it. You can watch water running right into it. I think that'll be a big help, so
Let
we're
me stop
trying.
you right there. They spent the day today and took care of those repairs.
Okay, thank you.
From-
Okay,
From start to finish, they did the one that the stream goes directly into, and then they did the one in the middle
Okay.
of the parking lot.
very good. I think that'll be a huge help. So I know this season's coming. I know the field was wet last year. We're trying, and everybody remember, it's leased. We don't own it, it's leased. We have I know we have carte blanche, but it's still leased. In regard to the lighting, there's nobody here from Deborah Copeland or Patty?
No, she's given us a couple of reasons why her speaker can't be here.
Okay.
That she will be getting back to us, yes.
I'm a little bit disappointed. I was looking forward to hearing from it. And I was on the way in, I was looking LED light in the bottom Mountain Avenue in here. And that's about it.
On the LED lighting, as a person near and dear to me calls it lead lighting. I personally, before we make a decision or go anywhere with it, I would like to hear from Deborah Copeland and her expert from, I think it's from Long Island, somebody by the name of Patty. They're trying to square it together where this person is going to go to the school for a presentation, and then that same day come to us in the evening for a presentation. So once they get a date put together, we'll take care of listening to them. Richie had mentioned, I'll hold on that just for a minute. Citizens Environmental Council. Okay, Olga, you came to us last meeting asking for an establishment of a environmental advisory committee. We're going to, I have a resolution which would establish it. Once we establish it, you gave us a number of members that you would like to see appointed to it, which I have no problem doing that. And once we do that and you have a meeting, I'd like to see you come out with a, we'll call it a chairperson, maybe a secretary, and then write up some sort of goals and meeting days, and things such as that that an organization would have.
Do we need bylaws?
Hi, no, not technically, and I don't think that's what the supervisor is looking for, but ideally a policy statement that gives some basic framework, not as elaborate as bylaws, but, so there's a concept for, right, obviously this board has the appointment power and the removal power, and they're the ultimate decision makers, but, some type of concept to let them know what you'll be working on.
And we'll be looking for guidance and recommendations, and very possibly, and I should hope it wouldn't happen, we may say one of your recommendations is not really what for us, or something like that, or we can't afford it, or whatever it is, or we don't want you to paint the street down Highland Falls green, and they might not like it, things like that. So anyway, I have a resolution to establish an environmental advisory committee of the town of Highlands. The town of Highlands has often used citizen advisory groups to assist the town board in keeping informed on various issues of a concern. Whereas the town board of the town of Highlands has determined to establish an advisory committee on environmental issues to provide guidance and recommendations to the board. Whereas the committee shall be guided by a policy statement to be developed by the board, the purpose of which is to serve as the framework for appointment, functioning, goals, and purposes of the committee. Whereas the creation of said advisory committee is a local legislative decision in connection with continuing agency administration and management, and does not include new programs or major reordering of priorities that may affect the environment, and accordingly is a Type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Highlands does hereby establish the Environmental Advisory Committee, and be it further resolved that said members shall serve at the pleasure of the town board, and be it further resolved that the members shall not receive compensation for the performance of their duties, but shall be reimbursed for reasonable and necessary expenses which are approved by the town board. Be it further resolved that the initial members of the committee shall be Lynn Etzel, Cindy Madeline, Ed Nugent, Richard Sullivan, Chevy Wanamaker, and Olga Anderson. Is there anybody I missed there, Olga? Okay. So be it further resolved that the aforesaid resolution shall take effect immediately. Do I have a motion to move the resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza?
Aye.
Councilmember Perry?
Aye.
And Supervisor Lindsay?
Aye. Olga, have anything to say?
Well, thank you very much. I think it's wonderfully appropriate that we're getting this done today on Earth Day.
Earth Day, I know
I
that.
think it's cosmic. Thank you. We appreciate it.
I'm working over in Westchester, and there's a couple towns over there where it's already, you can only get a paper bag. You can't get a one-time use plastic bag, which will be outlawed. I think it's next March anyway. In our town, we don't have a lot of money for our building department. It would be really nice if things like that could be voluntary, or you know what I'm saying, to implement. Say if we pass the law saying no this, no that, the building department's already buried. I'm not so sure how far we can go in that direction. I use paper straws in my house, and I use shopping bags, so I believe in it.
Hey, Justin, I have two resolutions on, with the police department and the town board from you.
I have one, and a copy of the agreement, I believe, was attached.
Oh, I got it, okay.
But I could summarize that if you'd like. It's up to
Please
you.
do. Please do.
So this is a resolution that would authorize a memorandum of agreement with the PBA related to the deputy chief patrol matters. This was something that they brought a complaint about, or an issue about, that we've discussed, the ability of the deputy chief to fill patrol roles when there's a vacancy or when no one has signed up for that shift. So this clarifies the language regarding the ability to do that, and the notice the chief and/or deputy chief have to give the patrol officers. It clarifies that issue. It also clarifies an issue regarding the work weeks, right? It's all part-time force, 1,040 hours for the year, and this just clarifies some of the language about that and how the chief is to take that into consideration in assigning shifts. So this is a straightforward resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute the agreement between the town and the PBA.
Okay, do I have a motion to authorize the execution of an agreement between the town of Highlands and the town of Highlands PBA for chief and deputy chief patrol matters?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonza?
Aye.
Councilmember Perry?
Aye.
Supervisor Lindsay?
Aye. On the resolution, Justin, on the top part here, it doesn't say chief, it just says deputy chief.
Yeah, technically, technically, the grievance was
the
brought
deputy chief.
related just to the deputy
Okay.
chief. The language is inclusive enough that going forward, it'll be clear and that was the additional document sent around to you,
I knew you didn't make a mistake.
so.
Okay. I have two requests from the Highway Department that Councilman Parry brought up. One of them is the Highway Superintendent is seeking permission from the board to enter onto the property of Michael and Margaret Buckley and Vincent Rush on Wildwood Road to extend a drainage pipe and correct a drainage issue. The drainage pipe belongs to the town, and we have permission from many years ago to, it was laid by our Highway Department. Due to the construction being done on the Buckley property, it needs to go down a little bit further and exit a little bit further down from the property. So I'll ask for a motion to allow the Highway Department to enter the private property of Margaret Buckley and Vincent Rush.
Motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions on this? No? We're all okay with it?
We have the easement for the pipe, and we're just going to extend it.
An easement, no, that's forthcoming.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
To our knowledge, there's not a previously recorded easement. Both these property owners have given permission for this fix, and there's
Oh, okay.
discussion of a long-term easement, but that hasn't been
And
completely
I understand we have
worked
a
out.
letter from years ago allowing,
Absolutely, right. The initial placement was all done with permission of the then property owners, but at least we haven't located a fully executed easement.
Okay.
hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. As you know, that our highway department has been having trouble with grass cutting, not just in the cemeteries, but in general. And Pat brought up an idea of hiring some summer seasonal laborers. He's been conducting interviews. He's been having trouble finding people answering his numerous ads, but he's finally down to the point where he has 2 people that he would like to hire. These people would be laborers cutting grass in the cemeteries and in different town projects. They would be paid the $15 an hour, and they would be hired just for the summer during, we'll call it the grass season. I don't think we have it. Kelly, do we have exact dates?
I think it's mid-April to mid-October,
Okay.
roughly.
Yeah, I think he figured it out based on the money he had, and that's how he came up with the dates, which are pretty much what Kelly said.
And if this works out, it's a good thing for us, because the people cutting the cemeteries, they were going sky high with what they wanted. And this will take our highway department men, like the one that cuts Brooks's Lake Park, we're paying them over $20 an hour, where these guys will come in and do it at $15 an hour. So I think it's a good thing. So he's requesting that the town board grant me permission to hire Glenn Peterson and Stephen Gass as seasonal laborers at the sum of $15 an hour, effective as soon as the paperwork is complete and approved by Orange County. The grass is growing at a steady pace and needs to be cut immediately.
And I think it's important to point out that these are part-time employees.
Right. I'll ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Glenn Peterson and Stephen Gass.
So moved.
Motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? June, you look like you wanted to say something.
With a starting date of, shouldn't we choose a date?
Well, I mean, the motion indicated as soon as it was approved by Orange County. I mean, once their approval comes through, I think there's the need. The grass is growing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
If we don't have a date to start, we could call it October the 15th and just leave it at that.
No, to start, their higher date.
Well, their higher date is when the county approves it.
Right, I was asking Justin if we should not have a specific date, but he said no, he doesn't feel that's necessary.
you know, I think the motion's sufficient with the
Okay.
language.
Any other business? Justin, is there anything else?
I owe you a solar draft. I'm working on it.
Okay. Chief, you have anything for us?
No, sir. Just a repeat issue that was via email. We're working on that. Which everything's going to.
Kelly, you have anything? The only thing I can think of is Mindock Park. You're not allowed to park on the riverside of the tracks. We're having a difficult time getting people to understand that the sign on that side says no parking. That kind of means no parking over there. Some people just don't understand what it means. So I've been requesting the police every once in a while. I see somebody down there to go down, and it's being taken care of, but there's no reason why we have to call the police, especially when you park right under the sign that says no parking. It just,
I don't know if everybody looked, I think I sent the email to everybody, with pictures down there. there's about 200 feet of shoreline that's significantly cleared. I think it was CSX. I guess they have the right to go through that park alongside the shoreline, then they can cross the tracks to get to their switching up there. The rock cut's not wide enough, so just whatever they're doing down there, factor that in. CSX goes through there to do their thing.
Okay, that was, the clearing was done by a local, McCarthy,
Okay, good.
and he was being paid for by the Mindock Park Committee.
But that's how they get around to get to their switch also.
Right, so he left that road open where they can get up and on the tracks. All right, anybody else, anything else? Public comment, please, anything? Mr. Malarkey? Daniel, known by everybody as
Daniel Malarkey, Town of Highlands. Hope everyone had a good Easter. No, I did. One thing I'd like to ask, I'm glad Rich is here. Would probably know regarding the water bills. Is there a set minimum on your water bill? I have something, I don't know. Honestly, I'm a slob, and I'm being charged for water. I don't use the water for ice cubes, for drinking. If I have a pet over, I get spring water, but I'll use it for laundry. I'll flush the toilet when necessary. And back to the slob part, I won't shower every day in the winter, but my water usage should be the least of anyone in the town. I'm talking about the mobile home, even Grandpa Storms' little house behind the lake there. I'm certain they use more water than me. So I think I have a faulty meter or something.
In answer to your question, the first 5,000 liters are charged at a certain price.
Gallons.
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 In the
The first
gallons.
5,000 gallons is $133.20.
But it does show the consumption in gallons
Yes.
between readings, and I do the math, and I'm like, I know how much a washing machine uses, ordinary shower, flush of a toilet, this and that. I do the math, and if it's close enough, I figure this, but there's a considerable difference.
Yeah, I'll have the water department, which is the highway department, Pat, to check on your meter. He can put one of the cellular devices on your meter to see if there's any constant flow, such as a leaky toilet or a leaky sink or what have you.
I have an attuned ear. Everyone that get the ball cock valve in the toilet
Okay.
tank, every once in a while they stick, but I have that ear for
I'll
that
have Pat,
high pitch.
I'll have
and-
Pat check.
Oh, okay. The real reason I'm here. I read in the paper that town acquired the new dial-a-bus. You know that I want to establish the Bear Mountain Highland Falls trolley system, way to ferry money in from Orange County into the businesses of Highland Falls. I think that little minibus would make a perfect prototype for starting the Bear Mountain Highland Falls trolley system. Everyone, I've been through all the names with Orange County Tourism and everything. It's an ideal idea. How points of interest like that, 6 miles apart in all of Orange County, let alone New York State, everyone thinks it's an ideal concept of just having a shuttle trolley bringing people, money into this town. And I'm just hoping maybe I could work something out with the town for pitching it. I also have an idea in the initial passage, having Orange County out there, someone from the record, the camera, once somebody from Orange County Tourism sees that on the front page, I think I'll be getting phone calls at that point. But I'm just asking the board if maybe they could use the old dial-a-bus for, it's 6 miles round trip. And I'm trying to think through everything. I know there's weekends in the summertime at Bear Mountain where you can't even get off the circle. I'm thinking maybe I'll have to use the Bear Mountain Bridge that little area, that parking lot they put in by where the toll workers work, using that as a pickup point. But I'd like to do stop at Bear Mountain, the Fort Montgomery battle site, and have a turnaround in Highland Falls. West Point will not be in the title name because West Point will not be a terminus or termini. I want to drop the people off in Highland Falls. If they wish to walk over to the Visitors Center, they can, but I'd rather they drop their dime at American Burrito, Southgate, Shades, the park, the ice cream shop. I have nothing to gain by this. I'm just planning actually to move in a couple of years, but I figure let me leave them another present.
We'll certainly take it under consideration.
It's a good well, I think it would go over well, and it boosts income in the village, for businesses, and becomes a reliable source that people can, hey, there's the shuttle, we can catch that back and this and that.
Thank you, Daniel, for your community service.
out
I
that.
appreciate it.
One more idea, too, I'm going to throw out in a couple of months from yesterday, just thought about it, an Easter parade. On Sundays, in conjunction with all the church services, finding a time between when everyone's wearing their Sunday best and just a short little thing. But
Thank you.
I thank you all for your time. Please, I'm going to keep on you for that. I even have the clipping where you said you would help as much as you can. Please.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Dan.
Lynn Etzel, Fort Montgomery. This Saturday, the Fort Montgomery Battle Site, Vision, and the Highland Falls West Point Rotary is hosting their annual cleanup of 9W. We're meeting at 8 o'clock in front of the Fort Montgomery Post Office in that parking lot, right next to you. Bags, vests, and gloves will be provided. So normally goes from 8 to 10, depending on how many people we have, so the more the merrier. Would love to see everybody there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. June, I have that memorandum of agreement that I just signed. This is the original, which you're going to follow after you make copies and give it to everybody that's supposed to get a copy, okay?
Yes.
Ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you all. Thank you, everybody, for coming.